Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I've had a lot of people messaging me about this one. People have been saying like, you know what? We love it when you collab with Jan George, but you guys are a little bit too cushy together. Let's get a little man called Eunice. I say a little man. This guy's absolutely flying at the moment in the Chelsea community. He's a very good friend of mine. I love his videos. You guys should check his link in the description. Of course, once you finish watching this one. Mr. Eunice, how you doing?
Mate, thank you so much. What an intro. I know you
I almost lost it.
Cushy,
I was like, how dare I call you a little man? Like, this is going to start some Chelsea beef. We know we don't need that kind of drama online, do we?
Nah, no diss tracks, no nothing. We don't need that. Nah, I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on. I hope you're good.
Yeah, I'm excellent. I'm very excellent. You guys have already seen today we uploaded another video earlier on talking about Thiago Silva and whether it was a good or a bad thing that he might be taking over as Pilaqueta's captaincy. But that is, I guess, like a minor detail in the water in the footballing world right now, because last night, I don't know if you guys have heard of this geezer, he's quite good. He scores a fair few goals, he's a little wizard, he's alright, he's pretty good. He goes by the name of Lionel Messi. He's from the country of Argentina in the South American continent, and he's decided that he's about to leave Barcelona. He said, I'm done here, I've had enough, I don't like the way the club's being ran. It's time to go. You know, I wouldn't have got Eunice on here for him to sit here like a lemon. I've got Eunice on here for me and him to discuss, to go back and forth about ideas, about potential signings, about whether it's good or bad. So, I'm going to throw it straight out there to the floor, Mr. Eunice. Lionel Messi to Chelsea. If it's possible, do you do it?
I've heard of this Lionel Messi. I heard he's alright, you know. In all fairness, it'd be a blockbuster move, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm quite split on this one, if I'm being completely honest. Just for the fact that he's, you know, I don't want age to be a big factor, but he's 33, approaching 34. You know, he's not the young prospect and you know, the lightning that he once was, but he is still Lionel Messi, and any team in the world would take him instantly. The fact that, you know, what could be happening is he could be leaving for free, depending on this clause that he's fighting over with Barcelona now, and it's going to go to court or whatnot. Chelsea, I think, without a doubt, would take Messi, but do we necessarily need him? I don't think we need him. I just think it'd be an opportunity for us to just have Lionel Messi, you know? It'd be crazy for merchandise, it'd be crazy for the name, for the brand. Other teams in the Premier League would immediately get scared. If we didn't go in for him, it wouldn't bother me, because at the end of the day, we've got, you know, Pulisic, we've got Ziyech, we've got Hudson-Odoi, who's one for the future, and we want to implement now that Willian and Pedro are gone. You know, we add Messi to that, it's going to be overcrowded. So, yeah, one side's telling me we can get him just for the fact that it'd be great for the brand, it'd be great for Chelsea financially, for the image, but we don't necessarily need him, do we? Then again, I don't want him going to City.
The thing is, like, I agree with pretty much everything you said, but the reason I wanted to do this video and I didn't want to just do it on my own talking about Messi is because when you hear someone else try to logically justify why they would say no to Messi, in my head, I agree with the reasons why you've said no to an extent, but I just can't shake off the idea, well, just the facts that would come if you signed Lionel Messi in terms of what it would do for Chelsea's brand image across the entire world, and probably exactly. Them blimmin' aliens paying their Sky memberships up in space. It would be astronomical what it would do to Chelsea to have Lionel Messi. There's maybe only Ronaldo is close, if not a little bit more, in terms of a brand, within the brand of football. It's like, yeah. There's so many layers of what Messi would allow Chelsea to do commercially. Agree with the point where you're saying, like, do we need him necessarily? It's not like at the start of this transfer window, we're all here like, oh, if Chelsea don't sign Messi, then Frank's done for. That was never like part of the conversation. It's just like one of those luxury things where it really is a once in a lifetime on planet Earth opportunity for a team right now. If Messi is actually able to leave on a free. If he isn't, I think the release clause is something like 700 million.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Roman, sell a couple of yachts, mate. Sell a couple of boats, and we're already happy. Don't get me wrong. I don't want this to come across as like George wants Messi or he's going to riot. It's definitely not like that. Regardless of whether we bring in anyone else more, on top of Thiago Silva, Sarr, Werner, Ziyech, Kai Havertz, for goodness sake. If that is Chelsea's transfer window, I am over the moon. If someone would have given me that little nugget at the beginning, I'd have bit their hand off and taken the sauce with it. So I don't think it's going to happen because I think he's going to go to City. Eunice, you said you don't want him to go to City, but surely the Guardiola factor and that cash that they've got and the fact that nothing else seems to matter in terms of finances means he's on his way to City. What do you think?
It makes complete sense, yeah. I think if there's any team in the world that he'd go to, aside from maybe PSG, but Man City makes complete sense, just for the fact that, you know, Pep's there. His brand of football will immediately suit him. He's worked under him before. He'd be the #1 guy. He'd be in the Premier League. He could finally prove himself in England and, you know, play on a cold night. Well, not in Stoke, because Stoke ain't in the Premier League, but, you know, Birmingham or somewhere, who knows. And
Birmingham, they're not in there either, mate. Have you been watching football recently?
Well, no, hang on. West Brom are here now, so, you know.
I mean, there's only one team in London and that's blue, but sadly the team in Birmingham anymore isn't blue. They're slightly smaller now than the Villas and the Baggies, but...
Exactly.
Okay, so we both established that normally, if Chelsea were having a bad transfer window, I think, am I right in saying this, that we would both sit here and say, like, we have to go for him. He's available. If it's free, like, we have to. We'd be stupid not to. But because the window has been so good, is that the reason why you're happy to just be like, you know what, like... Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's not going to happen and I'm not going to get too worried about it.
Yeah, I think it is. We've had, without a doubt, our best window since 2004. Well, I'd say on par, maybe better. Who knows, depending on how these new signings do at the club. But yeah, if it wasn't for that point, I'd be like, come on, Chelsea, what are you doing? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's go and get Lionel Messi. We have to do this. But the fact that we're getting all these wonderful players for brilliant money, these fees we're seeing, is just, we're doing incredible business. Incredible business. The fact that we spent just over 200 million on players like Zappa Costa and Bakayoko and Drinkwater, and we've done the same now with players like Werner and Ziyech and Havertz and Chilwell. It's just you know, unbelievable. So had it not been for that, yeah, I'd be like, Chelsea, we need to go for Messi now. On a free, yeah. But because we've got these players, we don't necessarily need to. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's so hard. This video is one of the hardest videos to make because you just know Messi has so many fans that we are going to get crucified for trying to justify Chelsea not going for him.
I mean, I did think of this yesterday. If we did get Messi, can you imagine just world football?
My goodness.
All the fans across the globe that don't necessarily support a team, but they just love Messi, will be going online to chelseamegastore.com and ordering shirts immediately.
And the best thing is, he's one of the cheapest names in football as well, because he's only got 5 letters. It's just like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, Eunice, I'm going to have to end this part of the video for us here, because like I just don't know how... this could go on all day, you know. The reason, and Eunice agreed with what I said, and mine's exactly the same reason. The reason why I'm not going to cry if he goes somewhere else and not Chelsea is because we have had an incredible transfer window so far, with what's still to come. Obviously, announcements are still to be made. There are still like crosses on the T's and dots on the I's that are probably going to go through. Everyone's very confident right now that there's no stumbling blocks with these deals, Eunice. It's not like Chelsea haven't announced it on social media, so we should all be panicking and wondering if he's going to go and sign for Borussia Mönchengladbach. It's not going to happen. Of all of the players that Chelsea have already bought through the door and that are about to walk through the door, which one do you believe is going to have the biggest impact in his debut season, and why?
I would say Timo Werner. He's such a good striker. I mean, I'm not going to base this on the fact that I did get him on FIFA and he's absolutely smashing it for me at the moment. But the fact that...
He is, like, that's probably the reason, right?
He's killing it. No, honestly, I think the amount of chances that we had last season and we didn't put away, and that was a huge factor in why, you know, we struggled in games, we lost points. I think he's going to come in, get those opportunities, because we do have the team, and with these new signings coming in, we have the midfield and the front line to just create and, you know, bring these chances to life. I think Werner's going to be slotting them one after the other. I'm not saying, you know, he's not going to miss. Of course he would, but I think he's going to be the one that has the most impact. And goals win games. So even if other players have good games, him as striker, putting them in the net, he's going to be the one with the most impact, I think.
Yeah, I think again, it's always important that we remember that a lot of these players that we're bringing in, some of them are very, very young. And I think that the biggest thing, like Eunice said this season, is that yes, we know, we're all aware we can't defend. People are stressing because reinforcements at the back may not have been as heavy as the ones that we've made going forward. But at the end of the day, you remember the Brazil teams of old. They concede 3, we score 4. You score 4, we score 5. And I get a feeling that, like you said, with this Chelsea team and the way we do create chances, we create a bucket ton of chances. And this isn't me trying to compare Timo Werner to Tammy Abraham before Timo's even worn the shirt. Tammy had a good season for his first season at number 9. It wasn't overwhelming, it wasn't incredible, but it was very good, or good. And I think that it's very important for us all to remember that Timo is a little bit older. Timo does have that little bit extra experience, so people are kind of throwing Tammy under the bus already. At the end of the day, there's also Olivier Giroud to think about as well. He signed a new extension, so of all the signings, I'm also just as interested and excited for Timo Werner, more so than anyone else. I know you guys think that me and Havertz are like best pals and he was hanging out on the boat behind me in yesterday's video, but sadly that isn't the case. I've just made a lot of videos about him because you guys like me talking about him. Do you know what I mean? There's been news. So Timo Werner's the one I'm most excited about, but I also wouldn't sleep on Tammy or Olivier Giroud. But let's move on. There's still a few more days, a couple of weeks left until the window is closed. And although Chelsea are getting their business done now, do you think, Eunice, other than like the fact we're just going to sign Messi and ruin football so that everyone else gets their content on Twitter for the next 2 years, is there anybody else that you think we're going to go for? And realistically, will they sign this window?
Yeah, I made a big point, especially in my last couple of videos, just stressing to people, we're not done yet. And that's the scary thing. We've gotten all these players through the window and I don't believe we're done. I think there are still tabs on Declan Rice, even though that might not happen this window. But I still think we're going in for a goalkeeper. And that's the one area that a lot of people, a lot of Chelsea fans want done, just to, you know, put any doubts away, because we can make everything look, you know, brilliant across the pitch, but the fact that our goalkeeping situation was such a factor last season, that's the one worry that many people still have. Not necessarily as a Kepa replacement, but as someone that's going to come in and compete with Kepa and possibly put him on the bench. I do think that's what we're going to go for. I know there's been a couple of names mentioned over in France. There's still the Onana link, but I think we're going to go in for a goalkeeper as soon as these deals for Havertz, Chilwell and Silva are wrapped up. So that's my expectation anyway.
Yeah, I think there's also, like, I don't know this for a fact, but I think when Chelsea are looking at what they spent on Kepa, it was the record transfer at the time. Yeah. I mentioned in a podcast with Alex Goldberg yesterday that I'm glad that Havertz is coming in to take that crown because Kepa's not really done it justice yet. I do feel as though there's an element within the Chelsea Football Club right now, particularly the way we love to get money back for players that haven't quite worked out. We like to wait for the best possible deal to come in terms of being able to recoup that cash. I think the reason why we still might see Kepa as Chelsea's #1 next season, there has been such a negative stigma around his performances. He's not been achieving what the price tag would have suggested at Chelsea. The only thing that Chelsea can really do is a loan move right now, because clubs would be so reluctant to spend anywhere close to the 72 million quid that Chelsea actually spent on Kepa in the first place. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's there. A couple of names that I really like the sound of is Nick Pope. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. He's very agile. He's actually pretty good with his feet as well. I think he'd be a very good option. Obviously, the Golden Glove in the Premier League last season, I think he got as well. Am I right?
I think so.
Onana's also very, very good. We've got that relationship already built with Ajax, but do they want to just throw everybody away and be like, here we go, Chelsea, we're your feeder club? Nice little Gojek delivery. Gojek's a little food service here in Indonesia. I should have said Uber Eats, then everyone would have understood. But anyway, let's do a final question for you. I'm going to have quite a few people on the channel over the course of the next couple of weeks before the season begins, and I'll be asking everybody the same thing. Realistically, Mr. Eunice, my man, what are your expectations as a Chelsea fan for this coming season?
I thought about this, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to put so much pressure on the team, or, you know, try and tell the fan base to, you know, just put so much pressure on. I'm not going to say we're going to go and win the title, but I am going to say we're going to put a title challenge up. This season, rather than just settling for a top 4, I reckon we should push to try and take Liverpool on all the way, and if we finish second, third, I would say minimum. But I reckon we can push. I reckon for the fact that these players are coming in, we've got our young players that have a year experience now. They know what it means to play all these 4 competitions at the same time at the highest level.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard with a year at Chelsea under his belt. You put all of these factors together, and I think we do have a team that can try and take it to Liverpool and challenge for the title. So I would say put up a title challenge, win a domestic cup, whether it's the Carling Cup. I'm old school, aren't I? Carabao Cup. The Champions League, I think we should be aiming for a semi-final.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you just said quarter-final, I'd be like, can we settle for a quarter-final when we've got that many good quality players coming through the door? Exactly. I don't think we can. I think it has to be, the goal has to be to push it next year. Yeah. The last 16 this season, we were unlucky. We drew the best team in Europe that I've seen for about a decade. So that was unfortunate in Frank's first season, with flipping tons of suspensions and injuries as well. So that's that to remember. I'm not going to give my full answer to this because I'm going to go into a lot of detail about what we did last season, what we've spent on, what other teams have done, and what we should do this year. But I think the biggest thing for me, like surface layer, when it comes to like 10, 15 games to go, I don't want us to not be in the race. Like this season, it was just a travesty because Liverpool was so good. We had so many games where we should have done better or could have done better, but we didn't because of what you've said in this video, that we couldn't take chances or that we conceded stupid goals because we're not organised at the back. I want there to be a Chelsea chance, mathematically, of winning the Premier League with 4 games to go at the end of next season. That's my goal. In terms of Champions League, I think the semi-final would be excellent in that season for Chelsea. You've got to remember the players that are coming in, a lot of them are still very young. It might take a bit of time for them to gel together. And a domestic cup. We got to a final this year. We were unlucky. We got outplayed on the day by Arsenal. We'll give them that. It has to be a lot closer. And that is where we're going to wrap it up. Mr. Eunice, you got any final words before I go and tell people to go and spam your channel with subscriptions to hope you push towards 30,000?
Thank you, mate. No, I would say I'm excited. I'm buzzing for the season. I know you are too. It's a good time to be a Chelsea fan, and yeah, just bring on the season. I can't wait till we play Brighton on the first day and then Liverpool at home on the second day. That could be a big statement. Mate, enjoy life in paradise over in Bali, and yeah, I hope you have fun. But thank you for having me on.
I'll try my best. Thank you very much for coming on, my man. As I've already said, let's just show the love of the GBFC community. We're all friends around here. I don't have rivals on YouTube. We all support the same cause. We do this for the same reason. So go into the subscription box down below. No, it's not the subscription box. It's the description box, all right? Go into there. Eunice's channel is linked. Give it a click. Give it a subscribe. And while you're at it, subscribe to me too, because there's still 40% of you geezers that aren't subscribed. And I'd love to see that number drop a little bit so that the numbers go up. But anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts, of course, on the biggest news of the day, that Lionel Messi wants to leave Barca. Chelsea's an option. I think it's like 17-1 at the moment. City are the favourites, but, you know, it's this summer. It's Chelsea. It's Roman. It's Marina. Anything can happen. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
That was lovely.